Welcome to the Radical Success Podcast, where we focus on internal transformation to experience external results. I'm your host and coach, Doreen Rainey. Join me each week for insightful messages and powerful interviews to equip you to take bold, courageous, and radical action to live the life you want and deserve. Welcome to the latest episode of the Radical Success Podcast. It is your host and coach, Doreen Rainey, and I am thrilled, as always, to be joining you once again for a session where we are continually talking about defining success for yourself and getting the guts to go after it. Because if it's one thing I've learned both in my own life and as a coach, helping people pursue their passion and their goals around their career and business, is that it is required that both of those elements be present to actually get the results that you want. It's not enough to just know what success looks like for you. It's not enough to set some goals. It's not enough to create some vision boards. It's not enough to think about or research what it is you want to accomplish. You must then have the guts, the audacity to go after it. And in this episode, I'm going to be walking you through the 4 stages of the success process. Now, before I jump into that content, I want to invite you or remind you that if you have not signed up for my upcoming 6-week summer success series, you definitely want to do that and be a part of it. This is an absolutely free course that I am doing that is going to help you understand more about what it takes to get to your next level. We're going to be talking about the guts that I just mentioned to make things happen. We're going to look at how do you set authentic goals? How do you close the gap from where you are to where you want to be? We're going to look at examining our habits and whether they are helping us or hindering us. And you're also going to be able to create your own radical success map, your personalized plan from moving from where you are to where you want to be. And so you don't want to miss it. You want to be a part of it. And it is so easy to sign up. All you have to do is go over to doreenrainey.com and you'll see the information about our Summer Success Series, and you can enroll absolutely free. And so I look forward to having you join me for this upcoming course as we begin to explore what success looks like for you. And now I'm going to jump into our content for today's podcast, which is all about the 4 stages of success. Now, as we move through these stages, I want you to take a moment and identify where you fall when it comes to your goals. And what's interesting about these stages is that the stages apply to each individual goal. And so maybe you have a goal around your finances or your business, and you may be in one stage where you have some goals around your health and wellness or another area of your life, and you may be in a completely different stage. But I believe it's so important to understand this process so that, 1, you don't get discouraged in the midst of making things happen, and 2, you can really measure out how close you are to getting the goals that you want. And let's jump right in, looking at stage 1. Now, I call this stage the awareness or the idea stage. It's when you have what we like to call that aha moment. And if you haven't listened to the episode called the aha moment or the myth of the aha moment, you definitely want to check that episode out. And I'll actually put a link to it in the show notes because we take a pretty deep dive into what it means to have an aha moment, what it means to become aware or have an idea. And so it is in this stage that you actually decide that you want something more, that you want something different, that you want to experience something new. And it usually comes when you are exposed to something. Maybe you read a book, maybe you talked to a friend, maybe you went to a workshop or a seminar, maybe it's just in listening to this podcast, and you've decided, based on what you've just heard or seen or read, that you want something different for your future. And it could relate to your money or your career or your finances or your education or your business and relationships. But you've just decided that in this particular area of my life, I want something different. And you begin to identify what that difference could be. Maybe it's around getting out of debt or building wealth or going for a new job or getting a promotion, changing industries. Maybe it's around starting a business or changing the direction of your business. Maybe it's about going back to school or having better relationships or managing your circle of influence. But whatever it is, it's like the skies have suddenly opened up for you in this area, and you are now determined to make a shift. You're now committed to making a change. And the mindset that you have in this phase is that more is available to me. The mindset that you have in this phase is that possibility is available to me. And it's in this stage that the excitement begins to build. It's in this stage that you really honestly tell yourself that this time you are going to make it happen. And once this stage is complete, you move into stage 2. And I call this the honeymoon stage. And it is in this stage where we carry over that mindset that more is available to me, that it's possible to actually have what it is I say I want when it comes to my finances, relationships, career, whatever those areas are. And man, oh man, in this honeymoon stage, woo, we are high on our goals. I mean, we are just feeling good about what we are about to do. And it's in this stage that we may begin to start doing research about how to get it done. It's in this stage when we start sharing and talking about the things that we're going to do. It's in this stage where you might make those announcements on Facebook. I'm about to lose 50 pounds. I'm about to start my business. I'm about to launch something amazing. You've all seen those posts where people are just declaring what's about to happen in their lives. And it's in this honeymoon stage that we are probably maybe losing the most sleep, watching a little less TV, wasting a little less time, because now we're spending our time and our energy trying to figure out how to make this thing happen. And it's in this stage where we also want to be careful about who we share our enthusiasm with. Because the enemy to stage 2 are those people who will rain on your parade because they don't see it for you. They don't think it's possible for you. They are limited in their own mindset about what people can accomplish, and so they put that on you. And it's a dangerous place to be because sometimes we give in. Sometimes we choose to believe what they say versus what we said in stage 1. In stage 1, we told ourselves, more is available to me. This is a possibility for me. Others have made things like this happen, so can I. That's what we were telling ourselves in stage 1. In stage 2, we've got to be committed to standing on those words in stage one. Otherwise, we will let someone else steal our joy, our excitement, our possibilities, our future. And I've heard Steve Harvey say this. I don't know if it's original to him, but he always talks about don't tell your big dreams to a small-minded person. And so it is in this honeymoon stage that you want to protect your goals. It's in this stage that you want to be very mindful of who you share what you're up to with. And if you don't have anyone in your immediate circle that you believe will support you, will cheer you on, will give you a high five and say, yes, you can do it, then you're going to want to seek out a community that can provide that for you. And I'm just going to give a little plug right here for the Radical Success community. We are having a group together on Facebook. And if you're not a part of that group, I encourage you to join. We're going to be encouraging, supporting, sharing great content in the Radical Success Tribe on Facebook in our groups. So if you need some encouragement, if you need a place to go where people will cheer you on and support you, make sure you join the Radical Success Tribe Facebook group so you can get that dose that you need to keep going. Because the thing about these 4 stages is that at any point you can fall off. And when you fall off, guess what? You got to go all the way back to stage 1. It's really hard to fall off and pick up where you left off. You have to come back and reignite your enthusiasm for something new, to recommit to wanting something different, and to go back to that mindset that more is available. And in stage 2, the mindset that you must stand on, that you must embrace, is that you have what it takes to make this goal my reality. Because when others tell you that that's not possible, when others tell you, didn't you try that before? When others tell you, well, you know, so-and-so tried to start a business and they didn't make it. You know, when people come at you, it could be that they're trying to protect you. It could even be they're telling you this because they love you and they don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you fail. And sometimes they just coming at you because they're just haters, right? But when they come at you and say those things, you have to be willing to take a stand. You have to be strong enough to remind yourself that I have what it takes to make this goal my reality. And of course, continually surrounding yourself with those people who will continue to encourage you, cheer you on, and stand with you. So that is stage 2, the honeymoon stage. And once you move through the honeymoon stage, you go into stage 3, which I call the journey. This is the stage where, as the phrase goes, the rubber meets the road. You know, in stage 1, it was all about, oh my goodness, I could really have this. Oh my goodness, I'm going to set this goal. Oh my goodness, I'm going to do this. And stage 2, the honeymoon stage, and your excitement, you're doing all the research, you're getting all the data, you're getting all the information. How are you going to make this happen? What you need to do to get it done. And then stage 3 is where you actually have to begin to do it. And if you remember my definition of being radical, it is to define success for yourself and get the guts to go after it. Well, stage 3, this is where the guts come into play. Because this is where you have to make the decision that you are going to do the work. That I've talked about it enough, I've researched it enough, got my cheerleading squad rooting me on. Now it's time to put my hands into the dirt and get to working. And this is the piece where frustration can set in, overwhelm can set in, fear can set in, doubt can set in, because it's in this phase that as you begin to do the work, you will realize that it's not as easy as you had hoped it would be. But the good news is, it's not as easy for anyone as they thought it would be. And it's so important to remember that, because sometimes we can look at other people who may have similar goals or who may be doing some of the same things that we want to do, and we think they are having an easier time of it and that something is wrong with us. And the truth is that while the challenges may not be the same, where the doubts and fears may not come from the same place, everyone experiences it. Everyone has a challenge to getting to their goal. Everyone has to deal with their own level of fear. Everyone has to fight their own doubt. And it's so important to remember this. It doesn't make you unique that you have some fears and doubts, and it's hard and it's challenging. But this is the point where you have to commit to not give up. Because it is in stage 3 where your commitment is 100% put to the test. Do you really want what you say you want? Are you willing to work to get the results that you want? And your mindset in this phase has to be, I will not be defeated. I will not let this obstacle keep me from reaching my goals. And in this stage, it is so important to celebrate every single solitary win, every single success that you have along the way. Sometimes we get so caught up in the big goal that we forget that every step we take, we should celebrate. Did you make that phone call? Celebrate. Did you send that email? Celebrate. Did you get the information on going back to school? Celebrate. Did you make an appointment with the doctor to get that thing finally checked out? Celebrate. I don't want you to ever discount any step that you take towards reaching your goals. You must celebrate each and every moment, whether you think it's small or whether it's huge. Because it is the small wins in this stage that keeps you going, that keeps you motivated, that keeps you inspired. And you will need to be inspired and motivated and committed, because there will be people who will try to stop you, get in your way. There will be circumstances and situations that make it feel like it's impossible to get where you're trying to go. But with your commitment, implementing the plan that you researched in stage 2, sticking to the idea that more is available, that more is possible, you will not only get through this phase, but you will thrive through this phase so that you can move into stage 4, which is what I call the win. Stage 4 is when you are actually experiencing the goals that you set in stage 1. Stage 4 is when you go, oh my gosh, I got out of debt. Oh my goodness, I lost the weight. Oh my gosh, I'm walking across stage getting my degree. Oh my goodness, this is the day I move into my new office to celebrate my new promotion or my new job at this new company. This is the stage where you look back and you go, man, it was tough. It was touch and go for a moment, but it was absolutely worth it. And the mindset that you have in this stage is, man, if I did this, what else can I accomplish? It's the time to celebrate you. It's a time to relish in how committed and focused you were to stay on track, to actually achieve the goals that you set. Looking at these 4 stages, I want you to think about what stage are you in with your biggest goal that you have right now. Are you in stage 1? Even in listening to this podcast, have you now thought about, man, I really want to do X? Have you had an aha moment? Are you in the idea stage? Are you just feeling like more is possible in this area of your life? That's stage 1. Maybe you're in stage 2. Man, you are pumped up. You excited. You in that honeymoon stage. You are researching. You're gathering information. You're sharing with people what you're up to. You're making your plans. You're creating your schedule. You're putting everything in place. You're lining up your ducks so that you can begin to take the action you need to take to get what you want. Maybe you're in stage 3. You're in the journey. And you may feel like giving up. You may feel like it's too hard. The barriers are too tough. The challenges are too overwhelming. The fear, the doubt, the lack of support, those things that feel like they are keeping you from moving forward. Or maybe in stage 3, you're in the journey where you are pressing through, where you are not discouraged. You got your head down, elbows up, and you are doing the work. You are staying on track and staying committed no matter how tough it gets. And maybe you're in stage 4. Maybe you're in the midst of celebrating a great accomplishment. Well, I will tell you, no matter what stage you're in, keep going. Do not stop. And I would love to hear what stage you're in. I want to know, what goals are you working on and where have you identified your process based on these stages? And of course, you can leave a comment right here on our website. You can also tweet me at Doreen Rainey and share with me what stage you're in and what goal you're working on. You also may have discovered that you've been in a cycle. And this is what I have seen many times over my years as a coach and working with people around reaching their next level. Many people fluctuate, they bounce between stage 2, stage 3, stage 2, stage 3, stage 2, stage 3, stage 2, stage 3, right? They go through that honeymoon phase, they're excited, they're planning things out, they're setting their schedule, they're creating their to-do list, and then they get into the journey, they get into the work, and the fear comes up, the doubt comes up. And as a result of that, their activity fades. Their action steps begin to diminish. And they find themselves doing less and less to get to the goals that they say they want. And after a while, after a week, after a month, after a year, sometimes after a decade, something happens. They get excited again and they come back to the honeymoon stage. And then again, they're excited. They're doing the research. They're getting things in order. And then they get in the journey. And then it gets hard. And then life happens. And then circumstances come up. And then fear comes up. And then it fades off again. And then they go back to stage 2. I want you to break the cycle. I want you to break the cycle. I want you, for every goal that you have, to move from stage 1 to stage 2, from stage 2 to stage 3, from stage 3 to stage 4. And then when you're in stage 4, I want you to think about what's next. What's the next target I'm going to set? What's my next level of elevation? And then boom, come right back to stage 1 and work through the stages on that goal. And if you've been challenged, being in the cycle, never quite getting to stage 4, but kind of playing the loop of stage 2 and 3, then I definitely encourage you to be a part of our Summer Success Series. It is a free 6-week course that I'm doing that is all around helping you understand the stages of success, having the guts to take action, dealing with the fear and the doubt, understanding what habits you need to create, finding that supportive community, and creating your own personal radical success plan. And so jump on over to DoreenRainey.com and you can sign up. It's absolutely free. And I would love to have you in our Summer Success Series. So that is our podcast for today. I hope you have gotten some great nuggets, some great realizations about where you are on your journey to achieving your goals. And as always, I would love to hear from you. You can leave a review on iTunes. You can rate us on iTunes. You can also leave a comment in the comment section on this page on our website. And you can also tweet me out or hit me up on Facebook. You can be a part of our Radical Success Tribe, which is our Facebook group. So thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. I so appreciate each and every one of you. If this podcast has been helpful to you, please, please, please share this with your friends and family. And I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. And until then, stay radical. Thanks for listening to the Radical Success Podcast. We would love to hear from you. Be sure to head over to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Until next time, stay radical.